Our Syndicate handlers are paying handsomely to get Imperium contraband off the frontier. Don't worry about who they are. Your pal Spider will handle the specifics. The Totality wants a sample of the Imperium's new PsyOps tech in their own hands. Let's get the perishable secured and ready for transport to the exfil zone.
Gotta earn the right to use your toys.
a little more wealthy. Here's the cargo. I can smell the glimmer already.
Cargo is under our control. Now, head to exfil.
Get that cargo loaded first. And then yourself. Of course.
Well done. Pickup's on its way. take that hot home.
Sorry, this game is so loud. I'm gonna turn this down. I can't even hear myself think right now. It's just fucking explosions for like a minute and a half straight. Like, holy fuck, dude. The last 2 minutes is just literally explosion after explosion. I can't hear shit. I gotta turn it down. It's so loud.
Drifter, are you out there? I need to ask you something.
What's up, Crab Cakes? How you living?
When did you know that Eris was the one?
Just
I guess it was the
nice.
time we were trying to help civilians in deep space. The crew was just trying to get to Earth.
I don't know. I'm conflicted about this game because I thought the last expansion was probably the worst expansion they've ever released in the entire history of this series. This expansion's, I mean, I don't know. This one's okay. It's not as bad as the last one, but like, I don't know. What they should have done was Final Shape should have ended the series as far as 2, and then they should have made a third one. What they should have already done is they should have had Destiny 3 already planned from the get-go. The second Final Shape ended, they should have already had Destiny 3 planned for like a year after release of that expansion. The problem is they had no plan for it, and now they're scrambling to make more expansions to make money. The story was in a perfect spot when they ended with Final Shape. They tied up some stuff. They had a decent main protagonist, but then they have to just decide to drag it along a little bit longer. Yeah, I think my biggest problem with this expansion is they just like, they're making it harder. I don't know why they have this need to make everything so fucking difficult. Like, they're just adding more enemies to these missions are just like, it's like I'm playing fucking Doom. I mean, it's literally a horde shooter at this point. I think my problem too is that I don't. Marathon was clearly Marathon is clearly a trend chaser too, is my problem. Marathon should have never been an extraction shooter. Marathon should have either been a single player based game with a multiplayer, or it should have been a Destiny styled shooter with an extra game mode for extraction. I think them making Marathon a strictly extraction shooter was such a terrible idea, in my opinion. I I just don't. I don't think that game is going to do really well for him. I think it's gonna have short-term success, but I don't think long-term the game's gonna do well. I think it's my biggest problem with it. I don't know. I just hate these companies chasing trends. I just do not like. Extraction shooters are some of the most boring fucking games ever. There's nothing to do in them besides these like auto-generated missions where you just go to a point and then collect like one item and that's it. They're so just poorly done. It's no different with Tarkov. It's no different with Arc Raiders. It was no different with COD when they made an extraction game mode. It's you go to an objective, you do some obscure mission task of grabbing an item or crafting some item or talking to some random person or some shit, and then that's it. There's no campaign story. There's no. It's the same shit every time. I mean, they could have at least tried to make it different, but. I think the other problem is that I think I read earlier and someone made a good point is that like Marathon just doesn't have anything that sticks out. Like at least with Arc Raiders you could say that the AI is a standout for the game, which I wouldn't disagree, but like even Tarkov's standout is just how much depth there is to the shit in the game, even though I think it's mundane in my opinion. But at the same time, like Marathon like has its art style, but that's like it. I just don't. Marathon to me doesn't have anything that's really like just required to engage in invasion. What's this? I don't know what that is, but I don't know. It just sucks. I don't know. Bungie's got some great talent when it comes to their art design, and their gameplay is actually pretty solid, but I still don't know why they wasted all this talent on a fucking extraction shooter that no one's going to care about in 6 months. It's just so odd to me. Sabotage or smuggle jobs. Do this one, I guess. Problem is no one plays master. I think there's a lot of games nowadays that are in the wrong genre. I think Marathon is a prime example of a game that should have never been a fucking extraction shooter. I don't even care that it's a first-person shooter, but it's the fact that it's an extraction shooter is just fucking mind-blowing to me. It's such an odd decision. Especially when Bungie isn't really like, I'm gonna be honest, outside of Halo, Destiny's PvP has never been good. It's been very half-assed. So it's a bit odd that they're steering back to, I guess what made Halo so good was the multiplayer, but I feel like the OG Halo Team 1 doesn't even exist anymore. I've never liked PvP in both Destiny 1 and 2. I've always felt like it was just really ham-fisted in, but I don't know.
A little bird has been asking after some misplaced valuables.
What are we, the lost and found desk?
Let's try that. Let's see. No. It's rank 5. Complete any activity with loadout restriction. Go through. That's just so frustrating. Destiny is still unmatched when it comes to their backgrounds. When it comes to like the actual art design of the backgrounds, like no one in the industry. I still think Destiny has some of the best backdrops of any fucking game ever. It's astounding how good their art team is. They have some of the best art design in any game, but they waste it on these fucking dog shit games like Marathon. It's so frustrating. I'm so frustrated that they wasted all their talent on a fucking extraction shooter of all genres. It's so frustrating to me. That's what really makes me mad more than anything. That's why it's so frustrating they didn't end with Final Shape.
The Syndicate goons.
Because they had something really good with Final Shape, I think. Yeah, I don't think this game should have paid expansions.
Still a mess out here, hero.
I think that's the other thing that's really hurt this game long term is that it's hard to justify a game that has paid expansions, season passes, an in-game store. This game should have been free to play. It's the same Marathon too. I don't think Marathon should have cost $40. Marathon should have been free to play from the get-go. It's going to be really hard to sell people even on a $40 game with Marathon. I think is going to be their biggest problem. A lot of people will not buy that game because it's $40. $20 might even be a better sell, or to $10, but 40 is a hard ask for a game like that. It's still too loud.
Gotta earn the right to use your toys.
I think the thing is too is like the game is cross progression too, and the problem is that if you play this on PlayStation and then want to play the PC version, you have to rebuy every expansion, which I think is a really horrible design choice. It really discourages people from swapping platforms. It's something that Warframe has got done really well that a lot of people still don't understand. Is you have cross-platform and cross-progression with like 7 different platforms, and you don't have to pay for anything. You just use your account. You can play Warframe on your phone, on your PC or a console without having to rebuy it. Same with Fortnite too. Even though I really don't like Fortnite, Fortnite does the same thing. You just download it and then play it with the same account. You don't have to rebuy it. I don't think Marathon is going to be a Concord level disaster, but I do think Bungie's going to get some serious layoffs after it comes out. I don't think it's going to be successful enough for them. Unfortunately. I don't want people to lose their jobs. It's, you know, it's stupid to think that, but I don't think the game is going to be as successful as I think it is. I really should be playing WoW right now instead, but whatever.
Once you actually spend
I don't really bother playing the new expansion.
I think I'm good on that front.
It's especially nicer when you know on the way.
Bought the fucking collectors and it's just sitting. I don't even fucking bother with it. Is that my phone? Oh, it is. I was wondering what that fucking alarm was.
Sensitive material. Do not open. Oh. Makes you wanna crack the lid, don't it?
See, I really like Division 2, but I think my biggest criticism of Division was they waited too long to add content. They had this weird moment after the New York City expansion where they kind of just like let the game slowly die. And then they realized, oh wait, shit, people actually still play this game, and then they scrambled to update the game again. It's a weird, I don't know, it's a really weird... They should have been making expansions continuously since the game has been out. The game should have had at least 4 or 5 expansions at this point. There was a very long, like, good, I think 2 or 3 year period where they didn't do anything with the game, and they were kind of just letting it die. And then they realized people actually still played it. And they're like, oh fuck, we actually have to make content for this game. And now they're scrambling to make Division 3 because of it, so like... I mean, it's still one of my favorite looter shooters. It's the one I play the most of any of them besides Destiny and Warframe. I'd say it's probably my 3rd or 4th most played looter shooter. I think Warframe is 1, Division, Destiny is 2. Division is 3. Although I might have more hours in Destiny at this point, because I don't have my BattleNet hours aren't counted on Steam. So before they switched this game over to Steam, it was on BattleNet for I think the first 2 or 3 years of the expansions, and I played the game a lot more back when that was on BattleNet than I did on Steam. I play this game religiously on early couple years. I think the other thing too is they gotta stop. I think the other thing Division suffers from right now, in my opinion, is too many game modes. I think they need to add less game modes and more depth to the content. I think that's one of the other things that they've done a really bad job with, is that instead of just letting the game modes kind of have depth, they're just obsessed with this kind of like, they're obsessed with basically adding like a new game mode every 6 months, and then they never expand upon it. Like raids haven't been touched in I don't know how long in that game. They never released anything after the second raid. Then they just kept adding game modes that no one plays anymore. See, like, I think Division 1 was a good example of, like, actually having PvP and PvE. I think Division 1 is what Marathon should have went for. Was have some kind of overview world that's PvE, and then have a section where you basically do extraction-based shooting. It's something that they would have had way more success with, because then people who don't, like me, who don't want to fucking play extraction shooters could at least get something from the game. Even Destiny has, you know, multiple game modes, so you don't have to only play PvP. Although, like, you know, I just don't feel the PvP in this game is, I think, good enough for people to play it full time. I think it's pretty subpar, but it's still at least there. You can play it. Especially when you compare it to Halo. The PvP in this game is really bad when you compare it to something like Halo 3 and Reach specifically. Only because I prefer those two more. 3 probably a little bit more because the maps were actually better, but... Oh. Well, they had Gambit in this game, but I don't think they've done anything with Gambit in a while. Gambit's basically been just left in a ditch to die also. They haven't done anything with it in years. Or maybe they've updated it with a map, I don't know. Once again, I don't really play it, so...
Site-to-site transmat has been established.
I think the other problem was that Bungie was such a net negative for Sony as well, because of all the shit that happened with all their live service games that basically never went anywhere. It was talk about a disaster was that shit. Pushing a bunch of live service games that got canned anyways. Well, or Concord. How much money was spent on that? I do not see these crates. They're in here? Or they're locked? I do think it's kind of sad that one of the only successful looter shooters is still probably Warframe. I don't necessarily think it's always a good thing either. For only one game to be thriving. But part of it's because they actually listen to their community, so it's not really like it's that surprising, to be honest.
Spider's kin are preparing to receive the cargo. Get to Exfil.
Get that cargo loaded first. Then yourself.
Disable the fast travel system. I also think the weapons in Destiny are also a really, I think a Borderlands styled weapon system in Destiny is really the biggest thing it needs, because I think it just kind of gets a bit boring being the same fucking reload animation with the same fight, you know, like they use the same reload animation with the same fucking 20 iterations of skins for everything. It's the same auto assault rifle reload animation. Still, however many years later, just onto a new skin. They could have at least made it a bit different.
But it's in the shop.
I mean, they rarely add like stuff with actual new animations. It's all the same shit. Assault rifles, shotguns. Because if you look at all the assault rifles, they all reload the same way. You stick the magazine in, and then you pull the handle. You pull the I don't want to say charging handle, but whatever it is. It's not. I mean, I guess in this context, I'm trying to compare it to an actual real rifle, but whatever. Like, if they could have at least done a weapon transmog system or something with everything being the same animation. That's the other weird thing too, is there's no way to transmog weapons with everything having the same animation anyways. Damn, what the fucking... Oh, the explosions.
Outstanding. This contract is complete.
I played a lot of Destiny Rising. I think the other thing is that having a switchable first and third person was a really good... Although... I think Destiny Rising is going to be end of serviced. The game's going to be end of service in about less than 6 months, probably, at the rate it's going. But I will say that them having a toggable first and third person mode was probably one of the best things they did.
Alright, gig's done and dusted. Gonna make some glimmer. Definitely made some enemies. We'll see about friends.
But I just stopped playing it because it's kind of the same old shit with every gacha. It just gets stale. I'm just so burnt out on them. I quit a lot of them because they're just not. They don't really aren't my thing anymore. Same as MMOs. I'm burnt out on MMOs. It's not my genre anymore. By MMO, I mean like traditional MMORPG. I don't mean calling Destiny an MMO. Jobs completed. I'm gonna go put my towels in the laundry. Hold on. Oh, this is loading. I mean, like I've been playing I played a lot of looter shooters, and I think a lot of them are kind of struggling with different issues. I think Destiny's kind of struggling from identity crisis right now. It doesn't know what the fuck it wants to do. Division's kind of just scrambling to basically add content that they haven't done. First Ascendant is... I have a lot of time in First Ascendant, but I think the biggest thing is like they cave to the community a little bit too much because everyone bitches about how hard everything is, and then they nerf everything. So in turn, the game's a bit too easy every time. Also, it's just needs more content, I think. I think they're scrambling to add as much content to the game right now as possible. Warframe for me, I played too much Warframe, so I don't really have a reason to play Warframe as much anymore. don't... Leave exfil from sabotage or smuggle jobs. I guess I'll do another smuggle job or sabotage. Is there a smuggle I could do instead? I think for me, I think realistically, what I might just do is I might start taking a break more. I think I've just been playing too many. I'm serious when I say I've just been playing too many fucking games. I'm so burnt right now. I was struggling to find a game to play earlier because I literally beat Resident Evil 9 twice in this fucking weekend alone. That's how bored I am. I beat the game twice. I beat it, and now I'm just kind of like burnt. I tried fucking like 5 different games, and every time I just kept quitting. So I defaulted back to this for a little bit. Like I beat Resident Evil 9 Saturday morning. No, yeah, Friday night I beat it. I played it for like 9.5 hours straight Thursday into Friday morning, and then I finished it I think Friday afternoon. And then I did another playthrough Friday night into Saturday. I'm just so, I don't know, there's so many other games. I need to go play Neo 3 still. I haven't touched that game in a while. I don't know, it just wasn't hitting for me.
And doesn't want to share.
There's a couple games I did a subscription to Game Pass for 1 month. I have a couple games I could try on that.
You give me the goods. Deal?
But I'm not a big fan of subscribing to play games, though. I buy my games. I don't want to like temp own my games. Yeah, I don't raid. I've done raiding once in this game. And people were just rude as fuck, so I don't do it.
Syndicates already fear you. Confirm that fear.
But it's not just Destiny, to be fair. WoW has a problem too. WoW's got a really toxic community if you run Mythics or Mythic Dungeons or raids. Especially Mythic Dungeons. There's a lot of really toxic ass people in Mythic Dungeons. And WoW. Because I played 2 expansions straight of Mythic Dungeons, and I was very dedicated to that. There's a lot of fucking rude ass people. I think the biggest problem that Mythic Dungeons had was that when you put a timer on it, when you basically have to complete it within a certain amount of time and don't let people just relax and play it, it encourages really shitty behavior. Because I've always felt that the biggest reason Mythic Dungeons and WoW were toxic is because of the timers. It creates a lot of negative, kind of shitty people that want to rush it and don't let new people learn the game. But I also think generally there's, and I'm not saying actual criticism on games, but I think there's a lot of really bad negativity in gaming right now. Like everything is just considered terrible without it actually having some critiques. Like you can have critiques about Marathon and not being an extraction shooter and not liking that and thinking it's a bad choice, but like I think what I see is a lot of negative stuff without actually having common, like, actual proper criticism of why it's bad is I think a big problem too. It's just basically people saying games are bad without actually giving reasons. And then when you ask them why they think it's bad, they can't give a single fucking reason.
Clear the signal. Can't move in the field if you don't know who's nearby.
Like, I don't think everything about Marathon is bad. I think the gameplay looks good, the art style is really good, the graphics are good. But I just think it's a horrible genre to be in. Like Tarkov I think has really good tactical gameplay and really good loot depth, but I think my problem with Tarkov is a lot of it is the hacking and the optimization. The game's really poorly optimized. So much so that it makes it unenjoyable to play. Like, Arc Raiders, one of Arc Raiders' strongest suits is its social aspect, I think. Arc Raiders' social aspect is probably one of the best things that's happened to games recently. It does a very good job of encouraging kind of like social play with people. A lot of it that has to do with the proximity chat. But it's also, you know, it's just an extraction shooter, so for me, I'm not as interested in playing it anymore. I'd play it if it was PvE. If they added a PvE only mode, I'd play it.
I've heard nothing.
I'd play it a lot, actually, if they added a PvE only mode.
Why would I waste time on progress updates instead of getting the task at hand finished? I hadn't realized communication with me was so useless to you. Watch that tone. You will hear from me what I want you to.
Like Dark and Darker, at least. Dark and Darker added a PvE mode. There's another game I played called Dungeon Stalkers, but it's just kind of very indie, low budget. And they really haven't updated the game much, but they did the same thing in Dungeon Stalkers. They added a PvE mode. It was pretty fun. It's a bit of kind of a gooner game, though. It's a little bit too much like a booby game. So people don't really take it as seriously. It's a little bit too Korean in that aspect, where it's a little trying a little bit too hard. Kind of how First Ascendant is as well. First Ascendant tries a little bit too hard with the gooner shit. so many enemies in these missions, dude. It's like, it's crazy.
Package has been procured. Very, very good. I'll see you after Exfil, where you'll be just a little more wealthy.
On the MMO front too, I don't think you're gonna see as many. I don't think like a traditional like WoW size or WoW styled MMO of that scale on the AAA is gonna be really relevant much anymore.
Client doesn't want to see so much as a scratch.
You kind of see MMOs kind of going in different directions with different genres, whether it's gacha games or like games like Where Winds Meet or something like that. They're like the traditional MMOs are not really a thing much anymore. They're just too expensive. No one, you know, they're always insanely expensive to make, and they never, and depending on the type of game, they never make their money back. Unless you're basically Final Fantasy or WoW. This.
Get back, transmat, ready to go, champ.
I don't like I said, I gotta play the new WoW expansion. I just don't know if I'm really going to be honest. I have it installed. I played it for like 3 minutes earlier and then quit. Secrets. Inspection. Oh shit. So do we go ahead? First. Focus all the shots.
You should know better than anyone. It's not over until you're out with your loot.
I'd come pick you up at the derelict, but it's, in the shop. Hawk inbound.
It's a cargo. Nice.
And thanks to Traveler right here. Alright, exfil's ready, Jan.
Let's talk about Warframes if we want to go play right now. Get to that bed. Get to the helicopter.
Ooh, stick a fork in it, hero.
These missions are a little bit too much for my liking, honestly. Just there's too much going on in these missions. They need to chill. They need to chill. It's too much. I don't even mind the length of them. Although I will say strikes are perfect. Strikes are like the perfect length.
Second worst thing about a massacre is the aftermath. The
I like strikes because they
Bureaucracy's gotta keep rolling. But we've
I like
had
strikes
some
because they're like the
unexpected
perfect
help.
length.
Zephyrus and his people help.
A little bird has been asking after some misplaced valuables.
What are we, the lost and found desk?
Syndicates already fear you. Confirm that fear.
Let's make our Nora happy and do this one by the numbers.
How many people are playing this game right now? Oof. 9,000 versus what does Warframe
I
have?
triangulated the location of some very sensitive intel. Sending the coordinates.
54,000. I don't even think this breaks top 100, is it? Nope. There's more people playing Fallout fucking New Vegas than Destiny 2. What a fucking absolute shit show. No one's joining the game again.
More in front of you. More behind you. Welcome to the frontier.
Boots on the ground already? Look at you! Go get her! Go get him! Other side's got their eye on you. Close it for them. Gave him a black eye. Give him another. till we find Bale again. We'll hit him where it hurts.
The lower back.
No,
The knees.
not where it hurts for you, dingbat.
Sensitive material. Do not open. Oh. Makes you wanna crack the lid, don't it?
God.
secured the contraband. Let's get it to the exfil zone intact, yes? We hate to suffer indemnity claims.
Stop it squared away. You're moving, Ace.
Fuck tank.
lockdown. Time to head to Exfil.
Lovely. Just lovely. And make sure you get it back here in one piece.
Shoot, were you still out there? I'll get the Hawk sent over. Just pop a squat for a minute.
Always said scorched earth is the best policy.
Still out there, running silent. But his message, it's growing. At least that's one less dredging we need to worry about later.
Dark matter ingots deposited? That means...
Praxic to Praxic.
Alright, I'll be back on later. I really gotta get laundry done and get some mail, so it's gonna take me about an hour.